World War III comes and, you know, everyone's gonna sell their homes and
Let's hope not.
we're all gonna live in encampments with the rest of these guys in Toronto.
All right. We'll call it right.
And you can reach much higher now. You better believe it. You can look at the clouds fly by. Come on and let yourself enjoy the ride and fly a little higher.
For those of you who don't know who Asim and I are, we're real estate brokers in the Durham region across Toronto. But there's a lot more to us, I feel, that you guys should know, and that, you know, we can share with you guys that we'd like to chat with you guys about. So, you know, like, it's funny because I don't even know that much about him. So why don't we just like go back from the very beginning of, you know, how did we even connect? Like, I just, for those of you, again, who don't know, Asim and I were not friends before business partners.
Right.
Which, you know, you guys, it might seem weird to some people because I've actually met people, clients and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, like your friend Asim and this and that. I'm like, yeah, we're business partners. We are friends now, of course, because we've been working together and whatnot. But, you know, we were never friends before.
No.
I didn't even know who you were. I mean, I know who you worked for, and we worked, you know, obviously in the same industry, but I didn't know who you are.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm still learning about who you are, which is kind of cool, right?
For sure.
So, you know, why don't we go back and say, how did this even happen? What are we doing here?
Well, I think you hit on a good point there, which is like, you know, this partnership was formed on something other than friendship. And that's kind of how I run my business, even with my clients. You know, I walk into listing presentation. I'm not really there to be friends with people. I'm there to get a job done.
Right.
And that's really what this was about. So when I did approach you, I saw that you had certain value. I saw that you had certain traits about you that perhaps I needed in my business. And I felt like it was a really good match because I brought certain things to the table, and I felt you brought certain things to the table. So it was more of a partnership out of need, and more out of a partnership out of you know, increasing our level of service to our clients, rather than, hey, we're just friends, let's get into business for the sake of getting into business. I don't believe those partnerships work at the end of the day.
Yeah. I probably agree. I mean, for some people it probably does, right? There's a lot of businesses, you know, obviously family businesses, you know, people get together, they have the same vision or whatever, and things just work. But I think what you said, where, you know, you had certain skills, I had certain skills, we meshed very well, right? Like, I'm a hard worker. I've always been a hard worker. Obviously you are, right? That's like baseline,
Sure,
what we have. But I feel like you're a next level of structured, right? And you have that operation kind of mind, which I was lacking. Because even you see the type of business that I get, a lot of it is, you know, referral based, and you know, just friends, family, a lot of it, right? Yeah. But putting in certain systems that, you know, we've put together, it's now growing to, you know, obviously that's one leg, but then we have our other legs of our business, which is really taking off right now, I would say, right? So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good start.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
far. But let's go on, like, even before that. Let me ask you, why real estate? Like, why did you get into real estate?
I was kind of just thrown into real estate, to be honest. So we're going back 16, 17 years ago. At that point, you know, I was in my very early 20s. I was working at a call center, so I was really good at high volume of call. And, you know, my cousin, who was in the business at that time, approached me and said, hey, there's a team hiring for an inside sales agent, and I think you'd be good for it because you're good on the phone. So I figured, sure, I'll go get my license. At that time, it was just a couple of courses. I think I was done within 6 months, and I was hired on as an inside sales rep. So it just kind of got, you know, I've kind of fell into it. And ever since then, you know, the rest is history, really.
Right. And you've been so licensed how long now?
16 going on 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think after 16 years would be like your biggest challenges that you've seen?
And are you talking about like my personal challenges in real estate, or are you talking about Can you be a little bit more
Yeah,
specific?
I would say personal challenges in real estate, whether it be, a mental thing, or whether it be, growing a business, like getting to a next level of business, like just really anything, just away from the market. I don't want to hear about the challenges of the market
Yeah.
and finding clients or whatever. I want to.
I think the biggest thing that I can point out is identity. So, you come on into the business. I'll give you an example. Like I started off as an inside sales agent, right? And you identify as an inside sales agent. But what we don't realize is that we're so much more than that. And really what our thought of ourselves is like we're kind of caging ourselves into this box. And that really holds you back. So once you can expand your mind beyond what you are and what you can become, that's when you really start to see the shift happen, right? It's, I see a lot of agents and a lot of people, in fact, always, chasing after the next shiny thing or the magic bullet or the magic pill to get ahead.
Right.
And I think that's within us already. It's like, who you are, who you can become, and the gap between that is the work that needs to be done. So that's really what happened to me is, I went from, I'm an inside sales agent to I'm an outside sales agent to hold on a second. I'm neither of these things. I'm a business owner at this point.
Yep.
And then from there, it grew even further, which is like I'm a team leader. I'm a lot of different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's especially because you've had, like you said, 16 years. It gives you time to actually grow to all these different phases, and like as a person, as a business owner, and now a team leader. Why don't we touch on that? Like, why didn't we now take that next? Why do you feel that you wanted to take that next step of actually starting a team? Is there anything specific that you want to achieve with the Bold Group, with the team? Was it a personal thing, or what do you think?
Well, at the end of the day, living is giving.
Okay.
So, being in the industry for so long, having gone through so many trial and tribulations, it's built a lot of character in me, right? And at this point, like, I can continue to do deals, and it's great to make paychecks and see, people getting their homes sold and be happy. But I do think that life is more than just that. I think life is about giving back. Life is about helping others and bringing others up as well.
Sure.
Bringing them into to their true potential and,
Yep.
and making them into leaders. So I think that's what Bold is really about at the end of the day, is taking people and, the journey that I went on is helping expedite that within them, seeing what's actually, what they're actually capable of, right? When some of our, agents come on, they're maybe like, oh, well, we're just brand new real estate agents. And we talk about this in our meetings all the time. We're like, you're not just real estate agents here, right? You're so much more than that. Like, let's get involved in all the different fronts, and all the different things, trying to expand them as people and trying to expand their minds. And I think that's where success and happiness comes from. It comes from growth.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think we have such a strong foundation of what we're building now, right? With the team, with the people that are on the team, that it's just going to go in the right direction, and that direction is growth, right? I think that was kind of our vision. That is our vision behind this whole thing, is just to continue to grow. With growth comes a little bit of a takeover. I'm gonna, throw that in there. We have big plans, and I want everybody on our team to see that they can, hit these high levels as well, like as we plan on doing with ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So now, again, with the team, what do you think? Now that we're talking about, running a team and whatnot, what do you think would be, as a new agent, one of the hardest things for them to get into that, high success, high production agent? Do you think it's, lack of skill? Do you think it's a mindset thing? Because everyone says mindset. Everyone's pushing, well, mindset. I'm going to be a coach, and I'm going to teach you how to work on your mindset, and you're going to journal at 6 a.m. and you're going to, meditate and all this. Are those things necessary to be, a productive, high performer? Is it skills? What do you think is going to get somebody from, ground zero to the top of the?
Great question. I mean, if I were to say one thing that stands out, it would be confidence, right? And confidence comes from preparation and practice.
Right.
And that's what we do, is we prepare them and we practice with them. And then when they go out, they meet with clients, they're confident in what they're saying.
Yeah.
I think everything else falls into place after that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're a seller or you're interviewing somebody to work for you, it doesn't have to necessarily be real estate. Like, you know, if I'm getting a quote for a roofer to do my roof,
Yep.
and he's very shaky with his numbers, or he doesn't know, you know, exactly how long the job's going to take or something like that, you're going to see it, you're going to feel it, and then you're going to, you know, probably stay away from them or look for other opinions.
Yep.
But you're so right that it does come with, you know, the practice and the work that you put in really does create that confidence in yourself to be able to go and you know, stand in front and represent yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's most important in today's market when we're dealing with so much uncertainty, right? So you have all these buyers and sellers who are already so uncertain about everything. You know, they might need a certain number to achieve what their goals are, or they might need a certain outcome. And, you know, the person who's representing them has to be the one that brings that certainty to the table. That can guide them and lead them to that outcome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I mean, like, why don't we talk about that now? So what do you think differentiates like an agent who's at that level where a seller can just go in and trust them, or a buyer can go in and trust them, versus, you know, the agent who's kind of struggling, I guess, to get the business, right? Do you think it's just a strict confidence and skill thing? Like, what's going to get somebody, again, to, like, not just say generic and put a drape over it or a cover over it and say, like, yeah, just build up your confidence. You get, like, what really separates, like, the people who are getting 20 listings a year to the person who's, you know, talking to 1,000 people a year and not signing a single contract?
I think I'm going to go back to the identity thing, which is, you know, having an unshakable belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that you're the right person for the job, knowing that you're going to do the best job for these people. So
Yeah,
you
I love
are
that.
the best option for them.
Yeah.
There is no better option.
Yeah. I remember times when I was like first getting into real estate, and I knew I had like an appointment coming up, a meeting with a seller, and I've never sold another home, or I've sold like 2 homes at this point. Maybe my aunt bought with me. I think that was my first transaction. And then my best friend bought with me. That was my second transaction. So I got a little bit of experience, but then it's like, okay, now I'm meeting somebody who's actually potentially going to interview me.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember preparing for that and literally just drilling into my own head, I'm going to get this person as a client. I'm going to get this person as a client. I just kept saying it to myself, I'm going to get this person as a client, right? So when I actually met with them, I think I did get them as a client, but it was like you said, you just have to have that belief in your own mind that you're able to execute whatever, right? And that's what I think real estate is a lot too. It's like you have to be a problem solver.
That's right.
Right? So many different things come up in different transactions. Personalities are different. People's situations are different, right? Things can change. The market changes all the time, right? You can tell somebody the price is this, and then, you know, you list the house, and then the market just drops, and now it's, you know, 5% less in 30 days, right? You have to be able to problem solve and help people get through every stage of that transaction, which is very important to anybody who's like a real estate agent. If you are, you know, if you don't have that capability to be able to pivot, shift, you know, work through problems, you're going to have a very hard time in real estate, I feel, right? Leadership helps in that sense because you should have a mentor, like you should have somebody you should be able to look up to, ask a bunch of questions to. You know, if you're not certain on certain situations, you should have like a team lead or a broker of record or somebody to say, hey, this is what's going on. What should I do here? Right? So that you don't look like, you know, inexperienced and making all these bad decisions, because, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line for your clients.
Yeah.
Right? It's such a big transaction. So you got to really be able to problem solve for, for your clients and make sure you get them to the finish line.
Absolutely.
It's so important. Go ahead.
I think that also comes back to, us actually serving the client, right? So we're there to serve. So when you're there to serve, it's not necessarily about services. It's more about serving the client and getting them what's best for them.
Right.
Now, when agents go in and they just tell a seller or a buyer whatever it is that they want to hear in order to, gain the contract or get the listing.
The yes man agent.
That's right. Yeah, that's not serving, because at the end of the day, you're not doing what's in the best interest of the client. Sometimes the clients want us there so they hear the truth of the situation, so they can make an educated decision on what they should do.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to be doing. That's how we're serving people, right?
Yeah.
We're there to make sure that they understand the facts of the matter. We're there to help facilitate whatever it is that they need to get from point A to point B, but actually get there. Right? Not just sugarcoat everything for the sake of ourselves. Like, we need to make it less about ourselves and make it more about the client and how we can actually achieve those goals for them, regardless if it's something they want to hear or not want to hear, because that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I see it. I mean, we see it. Lots of agents, even people, consumers, they see it. Yep. Houses on the market for 6 months, 8 months. Everybody knows it's overpriced, but it's like, why is it overpriced?
Right.
Because the agent will not have the tough conversations. They will not, assert themselves as the professional.
Yeah.
They will not back it up with data, right? They'll just play the ego play, and they say, hey, you know what? I'll do anything for the listing. And
right. Next
thing you know, your client's house is on the market for however long. By the time they sell, they're losing money.
That's right.
Right? So, yeah, that's funny. I was thinking about that before. I'm like, oh, the yes man agent, because there's a few listings that I've seen recently where I met with the sellers, like last year per se, and they wanted a certain number, and I told them, no, it's not worth 1.4, it's worth 1.2.
Right.
Right? And then fast forward 3 or 4 months later, it's listed high, sits on the market for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a couple of price reductions, and then it sells, and you're like, I should have got the listing. No, okay. Yeah. Right? So it's like, and that's a funny thing too. It's like, because then it's like, do you take the listing and do you just sit on it forever and hopefully the seller changes their mind?
Right.
For me, I don't do that, because I've been there.
That's right.
Where the seller changes their mind, and next thing you know, all your marketing dollars are gone. They take the house off the market. So it's like, yeah, you might get lucky with the seller who does come to reality.
Right.
And then, the price comes down to where it's supposed to be. But it's just so much safer to tell them what the price is at the beginning, what you truly feel it's going to sell for, right? And then, price it accordingly.
Yeah, and it's also a disservice to do that. So, I mean, if you overprice a property and hope that, over several months you'll get reductions to get it down to where you need it, then you're chasing a market down. So if we are in like today's market where a market's declining, potentially that seller has lost tens of thousands of dollars in that process. So where you thought that you were serving the client and helping them price what they wanted, you actually did a disservice to them, and they've actually lost money in the end, which they don't know about.
And it happens so
all the time.
Yeah,
right?
so much more often than people even realize.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of pricing, like, we work in Durham Region primarily. Where do you think pricing is going? I mean, a lot of people want to know, obviously we don't have a crystal ball. I always tell this to every client that I speak to. We don't know exactly where it's going to go, but what is your feeling on where the prices are going to go in Durham Region next 1 year?
Well, I mean, I think of this market as a very emotional market. It's not logical in the sense that if you list a home just because a comp sold in the area for X price, that you're also going to be able to sell for something similar.
Right.
The market is very emotional in the sense that there's a lot available on the market. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. So the buyers are picking and choosing which listings to offer on. So if your home is presented really, really well or has something unique about it, you can still achieve great money for it.
Yeah.
Right? So I wouldn't, make a blanket statement that the market is going down or it's not going down. I think it would say it's dependent on the property and the home that itself. In general, if we look at statistics over the past 4 years, we have seen a decline in sales.
Yeah.
But again, those properties that are unique, that are presented well, that have a wow factor to them, are still achieving great prices, and they're still selling quickly.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff recently where houses that, are kind of fitting in that square footage, size, based on comparables, ends up selling for 150, 200,000 more than, somebody down the street, just because it was finished nicer, it was more well kept, presented better. So yeah, it's a very interesting market that we're in right now. I think, like you said, we've kind of, in my opinion, hit the bottom of that big decline that we saw from COVID.
Yep.
Things have really stabilized, in my opinion, since probably I'd say October of last year.
Sure.
Prices haven't really fluctuated much since then, and I think that's realistically what we're going to see going forward for the next little bit. I don't really see or anticipate, prices going up or prices going down too drastically.
Right.
Unless World War III comes and, everyone's going to sell their homes and
Let's hope not.
we're all going to live in encampments with the rest of these guys in Toronto.
All right. We'll call it a wrap.
Did you play ball last night?
Tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that's when you told me to call that lead, you were like going in to play ball.
No, I was in the middle of a workout.
Oh, so you were working out?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
nice.
working out,
Nice.
yeah.
So you play on Wednesdays?
I play Tuesdays.
Look at the size of this guy. He should be like playing football.
Yeah, it's not easy, 220 running around and jumping.
I'm surprised you haven't tore your ACL. That's just me.
Yeah, I know. Well, last year it was the MCL. So
Yeah. So we're getting older, man.
getting older.
I don't know why we run around and jump with these kids.
Yeah,
But
well, that's exactly why.
Yeah, you got to stay young, right?
Absolutely.
So where you? Okay, so you're playing ball on Wednesdays. How often are you working out?
6 days a week.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
Nice. What's your splits looking like?
As far as I do legs 4 times a week,
Damn.
arms twice a week.
4 times a week.
Yeah, chest and back 4 times a week.
That's what does it, huh?
Yeah.
That's what gets you juiced.
Yeah, I actually recorded myself. I did a 5-minute set, like one
5 minute set. Just
of heavyweight, nonstop 5 minutes.
squats?
I went from squats to bench, and the whole set
Oh,
took 5
okay, like
minutes.
a superset.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
Well, that's how you do it,
Yeah,
folks.
I was gonna post. I couldn't even post it. It was too long.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna watch this.
There's me struggling with 225. That's all right. I can still do it though. I'm 175 pounds. I can still do it, guys.
But how
24
about you?
reps.
How's the walking going in golf?
The walking in golf is nice. It's leisurely. It's where I should be.
I want to join 100%. That's on
You
the
should,
bucket list.
man.
I'm going
we're,
to.
We're getting over the hill, so we gotta
Yeah.
pace ourselves. It's fun. Golf is that's my favorite thing outside of making money and the family, obviously. But
Yeah.
my 3 favorite things. Golf. I mean, gives you that competitive feel. But it's more like you versus you. Like obviously you play with your buddies and you want to beat them. But
Yeah.
I do love I do love the mental. Well, I mean, you ask my friends, they'll be like, "Yeah, Andrew's mental game is." But it's such a big mental game because you hit a bad shot, you have to like regroup and get yourself in the zone for your next one.
Right.
Like visualizing that good shot. So when you hit a bad one and then you carry it on to your next shot, chances are you're probably going to hit another bad one and then another bad one. So it kind of teaches you to, have a short memery,
Yeah, be resilient.
and
I guess you got that skill set from real estate.
Could be.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Short memory.
Yeah.
Some clients, you just move on from them.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So, you've been working out for a while, eh?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just doing home workouts, or?
Right now, yeah, like I have a home gym and stuff. Like if I go back to when I started working out, I can remember I was in the Ajax Community Center.
Okay.
Back when I was like 14 years old.
Nice. Are you still doing? You have a trainer?
No, like right now,
Yeah.
no, I do my own training program, stuff
Nice.
like
How
that.
do you feel about like having a trainer compared to
it.
just doing your own stuff?
Best thing ever. Yeah, even at my level, like trainer, a coach will always take you to the next level,
Yeah.
right? That's the whole point of a coach.
Right.
Yeah, if you have the right person on your team, it's amazing.
You just get better faster.
100%.
Right.
We think we know it all. We don't know anything.
No.
Yeah,
No, I
there's-
mean you look at any like high performer will always have a bunch of coaches,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
I just started working with a new coach, like a golf coach. Actually, the guy played. He's like a 70-year-old man. I played with him at Lake Ridge Links in Whitby. We got randomly paired up with this guy, and after like the third or fourth hole, he mentioned that he actually played on the PGA when he was younger.
Wow.
And then 5 years ago, he played like senior PGA and won an event. And you could clearly see the level of his play. So I asked him. I said, do you do lessons on the side? He gave me his number, and I've done a couple lessons with him. But yeah, I think like having a coach, anybody who's like afraid of a personal trainer or a coach or something along those lines, if you're trying to get better at something, it's the best money you can ever spend.
100%.
Right? Like you're not gonna. You can eventually figure it out by yourself. I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot of people do, trial and error. But like use somebody else's errors and their trial,
Yeah.
right, to better yourself.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is not so much that people don't want to coach or don't want it. I think that there's so many wannabe coaches out there that have really, really jaded people. So, people go and they invest their time and their money and they end up getting this cookie cutter approach that, you could have bought as an
Right.
ebook type of thing.
And I feel like, I don't know 100%, but I feel like the fitness industry probably is the biggest for that.
Exactly.
Right? Because a lot of people, they can just chat
And real
GPTs.
estate.
Oh, real estate. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I mean,
Right? Yeah.
the real estate coaches who tell you go knock 100 doors, but they've only knocked 5
Yeah,
or they've never hit the payment before. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to open that right now, but yeah, it's funny how many coaches there are. But I get it. Like, people want to get out of production and they want to kind of switch their, their game plan. And a lot of that stuff becomes easy because it's just quick meetings and, online appointments. You don't have to see people face to face for a lot of it,
Yeah.
right? These online coaches. So I get the growing fads or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful for sure because you can waste a lot of money fast.
100%. Like I always say, like, if you're going to hire a coach, look at them, make sure that's where you want to end up, because if that's the person's coaching you're taking, that's kind of where you're heading, right?
Yeah, true.
And look at all the numbers. Like, I mean, people can talk, but numbers don't lie at the end of the day.
Right.
So look at the back end, look what's been achieved, look at the data, all that stuff, and then decide from there. And even when, joining a team in real estate or hiring a real estate coach,
Yeah.
this stuff is more important than ever.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. I was here before you.
Today you were.
Oh, what are you going off of that? Like, that's a poor example. Like,
I don't want to make any direct.
you can say that direct. Now he's backing out of it.
No, okay. Listing presentations. Are you always there on time?
Never late.
Never late?
Never late.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, never late. Always,
cap.
always early.
That's crazy.
Yeah, always early.
I guess I'm earlier.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Who takes longer to reply to a text?
Well, I don't know. I'm not with him all the time, but I reply.
He's
within
pretty
minutes.
fast, honestly.
I reply within minutes.
Yeah, he's pretty fast. I'll probably give that to him.
Yeah.
That's not even a debate.
Who spends more money?
Depending on what, I mean, I think we probably spend an equal amount of money just on different things.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
A lot of money on real estate.
Yeah. A lot of money on real estate, yeah. Yeah. I'll buy weights and stuff like that. He'll buy golf clubs and tickets to go see, what was that guy?
Bruno Mars. Let's not talk about.
I was like, why would you buy these?
Yeah, like, we're moving on from that.
Yeah.
Who's more competitive?
Good question.
I'd probably say similar, if anything, competitive. Hard to say.
Yeah,
Hard
I think
to
we're
say.
pretty equal.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty good. I think we're both very competitive people.
Yeah, we're both competitive. I think we have different drivers.
Yeah.
And different things that we compete against. But yeah,
We're both extremely competitive.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Some real estate stuff. Worst thing you've ever seen in a house.
The war, ever seen? Honestly, I think it's just those hoarder houses. Like when you go in and the whole house just
Yeah.
reeks like the person has not gotten out of their chair to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that you walk in and it just hits you. That's, I mean, worst thing I've seen, smelled, felt, that's all kind of in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
I think those houses, I can't like specifically name like a certain item that I saw that was like, whoa. But definitely those houses are like the most shocking and scaring,
Yeah.
like scary situations I've been in.
I would say like dog poop or dead mice.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had a client who was very messy and they let their dog pee and poo in the house.
Yeah, I know.
And then an agent texted me saying, hey, just want to let you know I stepped in dog pee at your client's house
Yeah.
and I had to take off my socks. And that was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun stuff.
It's harder to get an offer at that point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she did not buy the house.
Yeah.
Most overrated home feature. Overrated.
I think open concept right now, because like it was really like everybody just wants open concept, open concept, open concept. But I do find open concept is good for like the main area, but I mean you can't just like what if you want like your dining area to be separate or like you know what I mean? Like I get open concept, but I do find that that's kind of fading when people are kind of liking the formal rooms again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just like privacy, like a little bit, right? Like let the kids play on one side so I don't really hear them as much.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch golf in this side.
Separation.
Yeah, a little bit of separation. That's how I feel.
I would probably say like a walkout basement.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they are.
I think it's
overrated.
overrated. I mean, I prefer to have my backyard as a walkout on my main floor because I use it more often.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I currently have a walkout basement and it's a pain.
Yeah, it's a pain. You got to
Yeah.
go all the way downstairs just to go outside. You know, all
Yeah.
this type of stuff. So I would rather the main level walkout. Sure, you can have like a separate entrance or a walk up or something like that. But I think that's overrated for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If a client had to renovate a part of their home, not the whole home, but renovate a part of the home to help sell property, what part of that home should that be?
Probably the kitchen.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy.
Well, we're supposed to be disagreeing. No. Bathrooms.
Yeah. Kitchens and bathrooms, kitchens and bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
No, I think the kitchen for sure. You walk in, you see a stunning kitchen. A lot of people can overlook other stuff.
Yes.
Everyone spends most time in the kitchen. I mean, it's your centerpiece of a home. That's where people gather, right? If it's open, if it's big, if you got the big island,
Yeah.
people just imagine hosting there, right? So yeah, I think for sure the kitchen will trump everything when it comes to renos.
Same for you?
Yeah, I think so. Kitchen is very important. Like, I mean, other than like basic stuff, like if you talk about like when someone walks into a house, they just see the things with the biggest surfaces. So whether if that's walls, countertops, or flooring, like as long as those look nice as well. Other than that, yeah, reno, I would say kitchen. But I mean, before a kitchen, I would say make sure the home is freshly painted. You know, you have decent flooring and you have decent countertops because those are the big surface items that people
Yeah,
really
that's true.
see when they walk in a house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Durham, out of Durham, I don't know if this is a thing for y'all, but what is the best place to live? Which city in Durham is the best place to live?
Pickering.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one. I mean, I've lived in Pickering for a very long time. So, I mean, I tend to agree. But a lot of, like, if you look at prices, there's a reason why Whitby is just as expensive as Pickering, right?
Yeah, great schools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good schools,
Good
good
amenities.
communities.
Yeah,
Like you get
absolutely.
those nice mature neighborhoods as well.
Yeah.
People like to live in, those mature neighborhoods where people have been there for 30 plus years.
Absolutely.
But then you get a mix of new stuff, right? So, Whitby, a lot of people I would say Whitby is probably your second best.
Sure.
But then for younger families, if you're looking and considering price points, Bowmanville, right? Clarington is up there on the list. A lot more younger families. I mean, obviously you sacrifice the commute when it comes to the price, but you know, the homes are generally a bit newer as well. Most of the subdivisions are newer. So yeah, I mean, again, it's subjective depending on where you are in your life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and job and all that type
Job
of
and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? So
stuff. Yeah.
but yeah.
Awesome, guys. I only have one more question, and which is in terms of the market. 2026, this year's that's for most families. They talk about affordability. They talk about, you know, worried about selling their property. I want you guys to discuss, like, how can you make a client feel comfortable with those insecurities?
So you mean when they're selling their property?
Yeah, I guess both of selling a property and trying to purchase in this economy. Like, what can you say to touch upon for this year?
Right. Well, you know, whenever someone is buying or selling, I tell them that you're not going to be able to time a market, right? So it's not so much about timing a market as far as the best low to buy in or the best high to sell in. It's more going to come down to where you are in your life. You know, are you ready to purchase? Do you want to get into the market? Do you need space for your family? Similar to selling, like, are you in a position where you have to sell at this point? And really our job is to make sure that they get the best outcome and best result out of that, right? So that's really all we have control over at the end of the day. We don't control the market. You know, there's a saying that says the agent doesn't set the price, the seller doesn't set the price, it's the market that sets the price. And all the agent has control over is the presentation, the marketing, the negotiation, and that's what we really double down on to make sure that when we are representing our clients that they're well protected and that we do protect their price and their value.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, like you said, our job is to get the house presented the best that it can for a seller, get it in front of as many eyes as we possibly can.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, the market is going to tell you, you know, what buyers are willing to pay for it. So, I mean, the assurance that we can give to you is that we're going to put our all into it, right? We've
right.
done it hundreds and hundreds of times. You're going to be able to move forward with whatever your plans are if, you know, you trust the right people and you trust the process, really. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's right. The market is the market.
Yeah.
And Andrew, where can we find you guys? Where are you guys located?
Instagram, boldgroup.ca. That's also our website, boldgroup.ca. Or you can just call us direct. We'll link our phone number here.
Cool.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our first podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be coming back with some more information, more knowledge for you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. You know, hopefully you guys got to know us a little bit better, you know, our background, who we are, and what we're all about. And we look forward to seeing you again.